collapse of the alpha-beta model. If you're a man in today's world, chances are you've been handed a script you never consciously agreed to follow. Be dominant, be confident, win status, attract women, and never appear weak. Most men don't remember choosing this framework. They just wake up inside it. And yet something feels off. You might be doing the right things on paper, working, training, improving, consuming advice, optimizing habits. But internally, there is tension, a sense of endless performance, like you're constantly auditioning for a role called masculinity. This video exists because that role is outdated. Not morally, not politically, psychologically. The alpha-beta narrative is collapsing under the weight of modern life. The men clinging to it are often the most exhausted ones. So today, we are going to dismantle it carefully and then rebuild something better. Not weaker, not softer, just more accurate. Part 1. The myth of the apex predator. Where alpha and beta actually came from? The idea that men fall into rigid dominance hierarchies did not originate in psychology, anthropology, or human history. It is our belief that it came from a misinterpretation. In the 1940s and 50s, researchers observed wolves in captivity. These animals were removed from their natural environments and placed together under stress. Food was scarce. Space was limited. Familiar bonds were broken. The wolves fought. Researchers assumed they were witnessing a natural hierarchy, alpha wolves dominating weaker betas. Decades later, the same researchers corrected themselves. In the wild, wolves do not operate under constant dominance battles. Packs are family units. Parents lead. Roles are flexible. Cooperation determines survival more than aggression. But by the time the correction came, the myth had already escaped the lab, and it found a perfect home in male insecurity. Why the myth spread so easily? The alpha-beta model is believable because it explains pain quickly. Rejected by women, you are beta. Disrespected at work, you are beta. Anxious in social settings, you are beta. And conveniently, there is always a product promising to turn you alpha. This framework simplifies complex emotional experiences into a single insult. That makes it feel actionable. But simplification is not the same as truth. Human beings do not operate like captive animals. We navigate layered social systems, families, workplaces, cultures, and relationships. Dominance in one context often means irrelevance in another. The man who dominates a room might be emotionally illiterate at home. The man who leads a team might struggle with intimacy. The man who intimidates others might collapse under solitude. Hierarchy thinking ignores context. And here's the hidden cost. When you believe masculinity equals dominance, you turn life into a scoreboard. Every interaction becomes evaluative. Am I winning? Am I respected? Did I come across strong enough? Did I lose status? This creates constant self-monitoring. And self-monitoring is incompatible with confidence. Confidence is presence. Monitoring is distance. You cannot be grounded while auditing yourself. Over time, this leads to social anxiety masked as arrogance, performance anxiety in dating and sex, emotional numbness or volatility, chronic comparison, and burnout. A man chasing alpha status is never at rest. Part 2. The trap of external validation. Why dominance creates insecurity, not confidence. Here is the paradox most men miss. The more your identity depends on dominance, the more fragile it becomes. Because dominance is external. It requires others to submit, others to admire, and others to react. The moment the room does not respond the way you expect, your sense of self wobbles. This is why many so-called alpha men feel intense anxiety when ignored. Silence feels like rejection. Neutral reactions feel like disrespect. They need constant feedback to stabilize their identity. That is not strength. That is dependency. Example, the loud man versus the grounded man. Picture two men entering a room. One is loud, expansive, assertive, and constantly signaling confidence. The other is calm, observant, and speaks only when needed. The loud man draws attention immediately. The grounded man draws curiosity slowly. Who actually holds power? Power is not volume. It is non-reactivity. The man who does not need to dominate creates psychological space. Others adjust to him, not the other way around. Part 3. Beyond dominance, the power of self-mastery. What self-mastery actually means. Self-mastery is not repression. It is command over attention, emotion, behavior, and direction. A self-mastered man does not eliminate fear. He acts without being ruled by it. He does not eliminate desire. He chooses how to express it. This creates internal authority. You do not need to posture when you trust yourself. Viktor Frankl wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." That line only makes sense if you understand mastery. Reacting impulsively is weakness. Choosing restraint is power. Physical discipline as psychological training. Training your body is not about intimidation. It is about reliability. A strong body supports emotional regulation, stress tolerance, and confidence under pressure. Men who neglect their physicality often struggle to regulate their inner state. Their nervous systems are undertrained, but men who train only for appearance often fall into another trap. They chase validation through aesthetics. The goal is capacity, not display. Can your body support your life? Can it handle stress? Can it recover? That is masculine utility. Part 4. Emotional regulation versus emotional suppression. Why men confuse these two? Many men were taught, do not feel. What they learned instead was, do not understand what you feel. Suppression pushes emotion underground. It does not eliminate it. Unprocessed emotion leaks through irritability, sarcasm, withdrawal, addictive behaviors, and sexual dysfunction. Emotional regulation is literacy. You notice emotion. You name it. You decide how to respond. That decision point is where masculinity lives. Example, anger. An unregulated man explodes or represses. A regulated man pauses. He asks, what information is this anger giving me? What boundary is being crossed? What response serves my long-term direction? That pause is strength. Part V. Strategic influence. Attraction without aggression. Why aggression fails in modern dating. Aggression worked in simple environments. Modern dating is not simple. Women today are not selecting for dominance alone. They are selecting for emotional safety, direction, stability, and depth. Aggressive pursuit signals urgency. Urgency signals insecurity. Confidence is calm. Attraction is nervous system compatibility. Attraction is not logical. It is physiological. People feel safe or unsafe before they think. A regulated man calms the room. A dysregulated man agitates it. Women often describe attraction to grounded men as feeling at ease or feeling seen. That is not magic. That is emotional intelligence. Communication is leadership. Leadership in relationships is not command. It is clarity. A man who can say, "This is what I want," and accept a no without collapse or resentment is rare. That rarity is attractive. Part 6. Strength and nuance. Emotional intelligence. Why integration beats extremes. Old masculinity taught men to reject empathy, vulnerability, and intuition. But rejecting parts of yourself does not make you stronger. It makes you brittle. Carl Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Emotion ignored becomes destiny. Emotion integrated becomes choice. Vulnerability as structural strength. Vulnerability is not oversharing. It is honesty without collapse. A man who can acknowledge fear, uncertainty, or desire without losing posture becomes trustworthy. Trust creates depth. Depth sustains relationships. Part 7. 21st century men and the women they attract. Moving beyond archetypes. The men doing well today are not chasing identities. They are building coherence. Their actions align with their values. Their emotions align with their behavior. Their words align with their boundaries. This alignment creates presence. Presence attracts, not because it demands attention, but because it does not need it. The ripple effect. Self-mastery improves career decisions, health, relationships, and mental clarity. Women attracted to such men tend to be emotionally available, secure, and growth-oriented. Not perfect, but compatible. So let us be clear. Masculine power is not dominance. It is not hierarchy. It is not intimidation. It is self-governance. The ability to direct your life without being dragged by impulse, fear, or validation. The alpha-beta model promised power. What it delivered was anxiety. The next era of masculinity belongs to men who are grounded, adaptable, and internally disciplined. Not louder men, clearer ones. If this perspective resonates with you, if you are done performing masculinity instead of living it, then Inner Helm is for you. This channel is about building strength from the inside out, not dominance, not posturing. If you want more long-form conversations like this, subscribe to the channel. And if this video gave you language for something you have felt for a long time, stay. The work does not happen overnight, but it does happen when you commit to it. I will see you in the next one.